If you've ever spent hours researching the best way to do something, but never actually did the damn thing or launched the thing, this episode is for you. ADHDpreneurs are masters in research mode. We get stuck in learning mode, right? Infobesity, way too much information. We tell ourselves, I just need to learn a little bit more before I start. I am going to take one more course to master TikTok before I post over there. But in reality, the cycle of endless learning is keeping you from making money. So today we're going to talk about why ADHD brains get stuck in research mode and how to break out of it so you can actually start selling and scaling. Let's get into it. Welcome to the ADHD CEO show, the podcast for ambitious entrepreneurs who are ready to stop fighting their brain and start building a business that works for them. I'm Elise Smith, ADHD sales and business mentor, multi-six-figure entrepreneur, and the creator of ADHDpreneur Academy. I help ADHD entrepreneurs ditch the overwhelm, simplify their sales, and scale in a way that actually feels good. Every week, we cut through the noise with dopamine-friendly business strategies designed to help you sell more, work less, and finally build a business that fits your brain. I'll see you in the show. All right, y'all, let's dive in. So raise your hand if this sounds familiar, unless you're driving. If you're driving right now, keep your hands on the wheel, but mentally raise it, okay? You've watched 10 YouTube videos on, let's just say, how to start a podcast, but you haven't even recorded an episode. You've downloaded every freebie on how to build a sales funnel, but you still don't have a sales funnel. You tell yourself, I'm calling y'all out today. Look, I'm on my bullshit, all right? You tell yourself, I just need to figure out how to sell. I need the right strategy. And 6 months later, here you are, still in the same place. I know this cycle because I lived in it for years before I started my business. I was what you would call a habitual hobbyist. I would research all the things, I would buy all the tools, and I would do something for a week. And I would either get bored or realize this is not as exciting as I wanted it to be. Or if it was hard, I just ghosted it. And I actually talk a lot about this in my secret podcast series. I'll put the link in the show notes if you haven't listened to it, because it's a 10-episode mini-series all about, very specific things I did to build my business with ADHD. But I give some examples when I was pregnant with my daughter, I was like, okay, I'm going to buy an embroidery machine. I'm going to learn how to embroidery so I could save money on every time I want something embroidered. And I watched 1,000 YouTube videos. I bought the cheapest machine on Marketplace because I had a feeling I would not stick with it very long. Thank God I did. And I will not shit you at all. After about 10,000 YouTube videos, I embroidered 3 things. I had a needle go through my thumb and I said, fuck this. And I sold it, right? But I spent so much time researching it, wasted hours. Whereas if I would have just got the damn thing, opened the instruction manual, I probably would have sold that thing a whole lot sooner, right? But I know this cycle. I have told myself I was being productive by learning everything I needed to know before I did something. But what I was actually doing is avoiding action, implementation. And when I got into my business, I started my business, avoiding action meant avoiding income. So if you are someone who is researching or constantly spending so much time consuming, you're avoiding something. And because this show is strictly about business, we're going to talk today about avoiding income. But I want you to think about this on how you're doing this in other places in your life as well, right? Are you watching TikToks on how to clean better than actually cleaning? Again, true story. So here's what no one tells you about ADHD entrepreneurs. The more you research, the harder it gets to start. Because research creates decision overwhelm. And I talk a lot about this in episode 162 and 163, but decision fatigue is real. And every new strategy you read makes you second guess the last one. This is why in your business, maybe you've bought 100 different courses and they all tell you something different. So now you're just like, I don't know what to do because this expert, they're all saying something different. Or you jumping strategies every 2 weeks when you buy another course, so you haven't actually stuck with one long enough to see a result. And so instead of moving forward, you get stuck in this endless loop of research, overwhelm, avoidance, repeat, research, overwhelm, avoidance, repeat. And the truth is, you don't need more information. You need more execution. And that's hard for us as ADHDpreneurs because of our executive dysfunction. The strategy you already know is probably enough. You don't need the perfect plan. You just need to start and refine as you go. And money doesn't come from learning. It comes from action. I don't know if there is anyone listening to this episode that's been paid for all the thousands of videos they've watched on YouTube. Please send me a DM on Instagram. I would absolutely love to hear. But until you get faster at action and implementation, you will continue to be stuck in that cycle. And I'm going to say it one more time. Research, overwhelm, avoidance, repeat. That is the cycle. So as you know, I'm very practical. I like to give practical tips, practical steps. So I want to break you out of this research mode so you can start making money today. And again, I dive into this a lot inside the Secret podcast. So in addition to the ADHD CEO show, which you're listening to right now, make sure you've also listened to the Secret podcast series, because I really give very specifics of how I use these resources and how I use these practices in my daily life. So one is set a 24-hour rule for new information. Anytime you consume new information, a podcast, a training, a webinar, take one action within 24 hours. So I'll give you an example. Instead of just listening to this podcast, take it and go write one sales post today. And then tag me in the comments of it. I want to see it at socially.awesome on Instagram. I want to see it. I want to celebrate you. I want to congratulate you. But until you learn how to be a fast implementer, take messy, massive action, you will continue to allow your ADHD to be a handicap instead of a superpower. I actually had a guest on the podcast not long ago, Phenom, and he called himself an executioner. And I loved it. And I related to it so much because I've had a lot of mentors in the last 2.5 years of my business, and every single one of them has said the same thing to me. You implement so fast. And a lot of times it is messy. I mean, there are like typos on my sales page. There's 2 different prices sometimes. Like, it just happens, but I got it done. I got it out there, and then I refine it and optimize it as I go. But I don't allow the overwhelm of doing the thing to keep me from doing the thing. So none of what I'm teaching you today does any good if you don't execute with it. So go do something today with what you learned, all right? Number 2 is build an MVP. I'm going to explain this to you. Minimum viable product. All right, let me explain. So ADHD brains love to overcomplicate. We're really good at it. So instead of planning a perfect launch something of a simple version now or first, right? And if you're not in the process of launching, don't feel like you have to go create something. But the goal here is, instead of building out something massive, first start with the idea and then create it with live buyers. So I'll give you an example. When I first did the academy, when I first started the Social Success Academy, my high proximity mentorship program right now, I launched it live. And so every Tuesday at a certain time, we had a call, and I would record those calls. And then that became the course for the future. So for years and years, for about a year, that was the coursework, were the calls where I was teaching something. And then eventually I did a refresh and I added a lot of new modules, which are fully accredited, by the way. But the point is, the overwhelm of, oh my God, I got to record 1,000 modules would have just completely shut me down. So creating it live allowed me to execute and build for the future. All right. And then step 3, some of you are going to cringe because I know the perfectionism inside of you is going to hate this, but use the good enough standard. All right. I'm never going to tell you to lower your standards, but your perfectionism is procrastination in disguise. Done is better than perfect. So instead of researching the best email software for 6 months, pick one, move forward. If it needs to change, you can change it later. But the goal is start before you're ready. Your clarity comes from action, not research, right? Confidence comes from action. Conviction comes from action, not research. So the longer you continue to research which one is better, the more likely you are to not even send a fucking email. Yes, some of my students are listening right now and they're probably like, oh my God, she's calling me out. I am. I absolutely am calling you out. Your research is hindering your progress. All right. So if today's episode hit home, I really break this down step by step inside the brand new ADHDpreneur Academy. Inside this academy, which will be launching in mid to end March, I'm going to show you exactly how to ditch research mode and start executing so your business actually makes money. If you want the breakdown of it, I'm going to include the waitlist link in the show notes of this episode so that you can grab a spot on the waitlist, because when this goes live, everyone on the waitlist will get exclusive early bird pricing and it will be limited. And then after that, moving forward, I will be doing application only. So inside the ADHDpreneur Academy, I have built something for you. It is here to help you build a simple, repeatable system for making consistent sales without the burnout, the overcomplication, or all of the overthinking and learning. So it is time to stop learning and start earning. So until next time, make it simple, make it social, and make it awesome. I'll see you inside the Academy. If today's episode hit home and you're ready to stop overthinking and start building a business that actually works for your ADHD brain, I've got you. The waitlist for ADHDpreneur Academy is officially open. Inside the ADHDpreneur Academy, I'm going to help you build a simple, repeatable system for making consistent sales without burnout, wasted effort, or strategies that make you want to throw your laptop out the window. You don't need more discipline. You don't need another hack. You need a system that works for you, not against you. You can find the link in the show notes below or DM me the word momentum on Instagram. I'll send you, or DM me the word momentum on Instagram at socially.awesome. I'm going to send you the link to grab your spot on the waitlist. And remember, ADHD isn't your weakness. It's your superpower. Only a few years ago, I was stuck in constant overwhelm, trying to make a business work without battling ADHD burnout and self-doubt. And now I've built a multi-six-figure brand, mastered a system that actually works for my ADHD brain, and created the freedom I used to only dream about. A lot can change when you stop forcing yourself into systems that don't fit and focus on building the right strategy for you. Get on the waitlist now for early access pricing, and I'll see you inside the Academy.